This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Come on in to Toyota of Hollywood, where curiosity and extraordinary deals await you. Your golden ticket buys a 2025 Corolla, not $26,000, $17,988. And we've got sweet deals with 0% financing for 72 months, 0 down. Enter our world of wonder, and we'll show you why we're the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
The Memorial Day event starts now at Florida's #1 volume Subaru store, Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy a new Subaru today with financing as low as 0% APR, or lease a new Outback for only $278 a month. Shop SPPLove.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
There's just one place to enjoy your Acura Summer of Performance event, Acura of Pembroke Pines. So hit the road in the new RDX, $419 a month. Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Hi, this is Jeff, formerly of Welton Rayon, PA, a longtime sponsor of the Big O Show. Now that Dan retired, I opened Welton Associates. I started this firm with a simple belief. When you hire a lawyer, you should be able to talk to your lawyer. For nearly 30 years, I have helped Floridians through serious legal problems. At my firm, you get direct access to me, clear communication, and a lawyer who knows the details of your case. I believe technology should make legal representation easier, not more impersonal. At Welton Associates, you get direct access to me, clear answers, personal attention, and real advocacy. Look us up at weltlawfirm.com or give me a call at 954-966-4646. Consultations are always free, and let me know that you found me at the Big O Show.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
It's the Big O
Boys and girls, welcome aboard on a Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Day number 19,170 since the Miami Dolphins were world champions. Day number 8,953 since the Canes were national champions. And day number 4,766 since the Miami Heat were world champions. Welcome aboard. Time to rock and roll on a Thursday where we get World Cup action back because yesterday there was nothing going on. So at least we got France and Morocco today. I'm looking forward to that at 4 o'clock. So that'll be good. Relax and watch. Yep. And by the way, I apologize for yesterday because after going over the audio yesterday, it wasn't, we have to improve that. So that was not, it was audible, but not good enough. So thank you all for helping me out yesterday. I appreciate you all, especially the hardcore, because those are the people that are tuning in now over the last, couple months here and into the last couple of weeks. That it's been like a brutal off season, that there's not much going on. So I appreciate the real hardcore that come back and support the show and hit the like button and all that good stuff. Thank you all out there, because I know, once football season rolls around, then, the seasonal folks will then step in and stuff like that. So appreciate all of you out there. First of all, Ocala Joe, good morning to you, sir, and Lourdes out there, and happy birthday to Christy. So apparently the daughter is celebrating a birthday today. So as they say, today is your birthday. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. It's not my birthday, but it's your birthday too. So Christy, happy birthday. Make sure you make the old man give you, a really good present, okay? Like a new car, something like that. Maybe remodel the house, add like 4 rooms. He's a whale. It's a drop in the bucket, okay, for Ocala Joe. Drop in the bucket, Christy. It's your birthday. Make sure you get a European vacation. Don't just go to Spain or Italy or Paris. No. Go to all of them. There you go. Now that's a birthday. So enjoy your birthday, Christy. And make sure you take the old man's money. All right? That's what it's all about. So happy birthday, Christy. And sweet baby Ray, I see you're getting ready for a job interview. So good luck to you, sir. We pray that it all goes well for you and you kick that ass. That's what it's all about. So get it done, sir. I see it there. Gus 1388. The Jaybird is in the house. Juan Rosa there. Big Johnson. Idleman out in Castle Rock. Lenny Pena doing well. Thank you out there for all tuning in. And then, of course, Dolphin Dave. Speaking of football, well, today's the 9th. The 21st, the rookies report. A week later, the veterans report on the 28th. So we got about 19 days for the veterans reporting. Canes football starts on the 31st of July as they get ready for their game at the end of August. So since August is, obviously the hot and heavy month now that we get football going and stuff. So looking good. So towards the end of this month, we finally will start having some tangible stuff to talk about with football. So I'm looking forward to getting through these final last couple of weeks. Okay. That's what we need as football fans, kind of get through this and finally let's get to the meat of the matter. Because, at least the offseason had a little some for us with Brady Tkachuk coming and then Giannis coming to the Heat and all that. At least you're not going to be a play-in team, this year for the Heat, barring injuries, of course. But outside of that, you should be a little better than playing at least. And, the Panther season is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And then we get the football seasons going. I don't expect much on the Dolphins side. I just want to see a competent coach and see that there's potential in the general manager. That's all I want to walk away with this year. It would be nice that Malik Willis is the guy. That would be nice, even though I don't believe it. But I would rather be wrong and that the Dolphins find their quarterback. But that's to me, that's kind of a little much to ask. But I'd like to see that John Eric Sullivan overall with his decisions were good, and that Hafley looks like a good coach, looks like a guy that has his players ready and prepared. It's kind of the way I want to look at this season that's coming up with the Miami Dolphins. On the Canes side, it's unfinished business. That's what this hurricane season is all about, unfinished business. You are the Miami Heat coming back in 11 after failing in 10. You are the Miami Dolphins coming back with an undefeated season and winning the championship after failing the first time around. You are the Panthers failing after having the number 1 seed and then having to come back and win the championship. That's exactly where we're at with the Miami Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were at the door last year. They were knocking on it. Talent-wise, they had the better team, but they weren't the better coaching staff, and they weren't the most disciplined team, and that's why they ended up losing. Indiana had the better coaching staff, and had the more disciplined team, and they won. So now your job is to complete the unfinished business, Mario Cristobal. I assume you will run the table in the regular season, but I'm expecting you to get back to the playoffs and get back to the national championship and finish the job that you got to last year. So we're going to see if you're the 70s Dolphins. We're going to see if you're the Panthers here of the latter part of these 2000s, or we're going to see if you're the Miami Heat of the mid 2000s. That's what we're going to find out. See if you got what the other 3 teams had actually done in the past. Can Mario Cristobal repeat the feat that's been done 3 other times by South Florida teams? That's what this football season is all about. The regular season for me is a gimme. You better run the table. That's the way I look at it. Any kind of slip up and the regular season, just like last year, is a failure because Mario failed last regular season. He made up for it by getting into the playoffs, but he failed in the regular season. Can't do that anymore. This is about finishing the job like Shula did, like Spo did, and like Paul Maurice did. You want to be those guys? You got to finish the job. Wow, isn't that nice? The top 10 U.S. stocks right now account for 43% of the S&P 500 market cap. If you think that's good, that's absolutely horrible. Okay. Near the highest on record, this percentage has been at or above 40% for the last 12 months. Over the last 10 years, the top 10 weighing in the S&P has more than doubled. At the same time, the proportion of 250 smallest companies has halved to 7%, the lowest since 2014. To put this differently, the top 10 now account for more than 6 times the market cap of the smallest 250 firms in the S&P 500 index. A handful of stocks continue to effectively drive the entire market. Yeah, it doesn't really take a lot of brains to play the stock market nowadays. You just play the big boys. You don't bother with the small ones. It's that's like gambling. That's all a casino down there. So you just go with the big ones and you ride it out as much as you can. That's the safest. It's the safest way. because that's kind of the way it goes. Wow, that's a hell of a stat. That is a shaka. Anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Where we at with the Bitcoin, baby? We are pushing around 63. We're at 62,866. We'll see what happens throughout the day, obviously with everything going on in the Gulf. But, they're dying to make a deal. The Dow is up 56 points. The S&P is up 19. The NASDAQ is up almost 2 points. And SpaceX is at $149. Still not a buying zone yet. Not that it's financial advice, but still not a buying zone for me. I think we're going to dip a lot more still. Anyway, what else do we have here? Ocala Joe says, you're killing me. Drying out that wallet, huh? Yeah. Way to go, Christy. Demand. You got to demand. That's what you got to do, Christy. It's your birthday. That's it. Take advantage, Christy. He's just stashing the money. He's just stacking it. It's just a big old vault full of cash. Like, what's this? It's just sitting there, Christy. Enjoy it. That's what I'm telling you. Go to Mauritius. Beautiful island. That's like the Hawaii of Europe, in other words. Mauritius. You'll remember. Anyway, let's see, what else do we have here? Chad is in the house. Buenos dias to you, sir. Lenny Pena, there better be no brain farts from Mario this season. He needs to run the table this year in the ACC. No excuses. Yeah. None. Dolphin Day Big O, you do a great job and you're very entertaining. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. That is very kind of you. Thank you, sir. Kosa in the house. Breaking news, says Jaybird, U.S. Soccer has hired Steve Cherundolo as the head coach of the under-23 men's national team that will compete at the 2028 Summer Olympics. All right? I remember Cherundolo. I want to say, did he play for the United? Might have played for a couple of teams. I wonder. Let me see. Let me see if I remember correctly. Just to throw out the name out there. I think I remember that name with the United. Let me cheat and look at your spelling, because I'm sure you spelled it right, and I want to make sure I get it right. How about the Kansas City Wizards? Did he also play there? Let me see. Cherundolo, American coach and former soccer player, Major League Soccer, Los Angeles FC, right back. He was captain of Hannover 96 of the German Bundesliga, where he spent his entire career representing the United States and at the 2006 and 2010 FIFA World Cups. And we're here to pump you up. Before joining Hanover, he was at the University of Portland, played for the Pilot soccer team, freshman West Coast of the Year, international, bara, CONCACAF, no MLS. I thought he ended up in the MLS a little bit there. He did not. Just says coaching career. That's it. No. Just international soccer. That's it. Cherundolo was elected to the National Soccer Hall of Fame as a player. There you go. And he married Mandy Rozier on New Year's Eve of 2009 at the local St. Joseph Catholic Parish Church in Hanover District. Just to kind of make sure you guys know about this. So, yeah, he was a Bundesliga guy the entire time. Good for him. That's a hell of a career to play in the Bundesliga for as long as he did, from 98 to 2013-14 season. That's beautiful, dude. And he was pretty much in Hanover the entire time. That is awesome. Awesome. I thought he got in the back end, like MLS. I thought he did get in there, but he did not. Morning flying into Miami tomorrow night for a much-needed cruise on Saturday night. Is Freddie Cruz going out with you? Because Freddie Cruz is the all-night cruiser. Find out, Ray. Look around the boat and ask, is Freddie Cruz around? But you have to say it like this. If you don't say it like this, Freddie won't understand. So you have to talk like this, and then Freddie Cruz, he will cruise all night. Ray's going, what the hell is that guy talking about? Anyway, Alexis Palenzuela in there. Rosendo, good morning to you, sir. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember, Welton Associates, proud sponsors of our program, and the consultation's always free, 954-966-4646 for personal injury, property insurance claims, bankruptcy. You will not be treated like a number. You will get the personalized service that you deserve. 954-966-4646. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. And, of course, World Cup action. We get it back today. Thank the Lord. 4 o'clock. France is taking on Morocco. France is minus 175 on the money line. Morocco is plus 550. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, it's Spain taking on Belgium. Spain minus 160. Belgium plus 450. Norway on Saturday, we got a duque of games, a brace of games. And at 5, it's Norway taking on England. Norway at plus 325. England minus 120. I got to tell you something. The England team is good, but they're not like this phenomenal team. And from what I've seen from Norway, I already took this. I saw this morning. I took plus 325. The Harlan guy is, he's one of the most confident football players on the planet right now. And he's not about acting or flopping. No, he's going to make you flop. I took the plus 325. I am not going to be shocked if Norway beats England. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you the other day for Switzerland and Colombia. That Colombia is a nice team, but it's not like I've seen Colombian teams in the past that would have smoked this team 10 times over. And I told you guys, hey, Colombia should win because they're slightly better, but it's not like Switzerland's a chump or anything. And I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them. Same shit here. Yeah, England should be favored. Okay. But Norway should not be plus 325. I'm not a betting expert, not a gambling expert, not a financial expert. I know nothing. Remember that. Always remember that. Okay. I just pull stuff out of my ass is what I do. But I took Norway plus 325 because I see that as a bargain. That to me is value when I bet. So here we are, Saturday at 5 o'clock. I'll be glued to the tube watching it. At 9, Messi and the boys taking on Switzerland. I know Colombia hates that. Argentina's minus 145 on the money line. Switzerland is plus 475. But I'm not feeling the same way. Remember, I'm piggybacking off what I told you yesterday with the U.S. I'm done with the U.S. The only time I will believe you'll get past the 16 is when you do have a legit international star. And we've never developed one. The first time we do is when we cross that. And that's what Norway has. Switzerland doesn't. Switzerland plays as a team. So we'll see what happens at 9 o'clock. Marcellus Wiley. Well, not only is he dealing with domestic issues, he's also dealing with financial issues as he's being also sued for not paying a $500,000 loan. There you go. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. And if you need custom printing and embroidery, please reach out to Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443. Anything, shirts, hats, uniforms, you name it. Even if you guys are going on a picnic or on a field trip, or you're going to, I don't know, whatever it is, and you all need the same shirt to be more identifiable and all that, because that's been kind of the number one order for Alan over the years, actually. So I know that happens a lot of corporate entities and all that. You get together, and so you all want the same shirt or whatever. Call Alan Blanco. You do all of that through Zoom and email, and they ship it to you right away. He sends you the sample. You approve it. You want a little change, a tweak, whatever, and gone. Alan does great work, as a bunch of our listeners have found out over the last 7 years. 786-618-1443. All righty. What else do we have going on? Smash the like button. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Therapy for us Finns fans. Let's just hope we got the right combo, because if, as I've told you, throughout the offseason, if this is not the right general manager, none of this means anything. And that's been our problem for 40 years. Terrible general manager. And once Shula lost his general managers, once he lost Young and Thomas and Beathard and the people that were in that personnel department back in the 70s into the very, very beginning of the 80s, because I think that's when Beathard left, right at the beginning of the 80s, I want to say. And then that's it. It was over. Young left, and he built the Giants. The teams that Parcells won with in 97 and 87 and 91, those were built by Young, who was our guy here in Miami. And he was under Shula. Once we lost that, that's how screwed up our team is. Since that moment, we've never had another great general manager again. We've never had another great front office again. Think about that. We worry so much about getting the quarterback. Well, we got the quarterback after that, but we got it by luck. Poetry, folks. That's what we do on the show here. Poetry. Everybody hates poetry. They hate the truth. And the truth is, there was no skill to landing Marino, because he was the sixth quarterback taken. He had cocaine rumors, and he threw 19 interceptions. So that's our whole thing. It's John Eric Sullivan. It's that dude. He has to be that dude. If he's not that dude, we're not going anywhere. Bobby Beathard, Andrew says, that's a long time ago. I know, but think about it. If you're a long-term Dolphin fan like I am, think about that. Since that time, we have never had a great front office. It's all our personnel decisions since the early 80s all the way till now have been super questionable. And it doesn't matter who was in charge. It could have been Jimmy, and he was a disaster. Doesn't matter. They all screwed up. All of them. They all have a couple of hits here and there, but none of them can build the team, can find the quarterback, the coach. None of them. That's our thing. So that's where this whole season starts. Did John Eric Sullivan make good moves, intelligent moves? Do we see that he drafted the right players? Did he find any undrafted players? Did he find any street free agents? Did Malik Willis prove that he's the guy? Is Jeff Hafley a real head coach? These are all the things that are going to fall at the feet of John Eric Sullivan. Until we know that we have a great GM, the Dolphins will never be great again. And look at the math. It's really simple math. It's 1 + 1 = 2. And that's what we had back in the 70s. We had the great front office and the great coach, and everything took care of itself. We had such a great front office and a great coach that we won with a backup quarterback that took us all the way to the playoffs, and then Greasy took over again when he came back from the foot injury. That's all you need to know. That's how good the team was. And in another year in the early 80s, they were so good still that they got to a championship with 2 quarterbacks. You know? Those days are done. That was like the end of it right there. That was the very end of it. The Killer Bees, that was the end of it right there. It was over. The decisions after that, even they went to another Super Bowl, but it was Marino and the offense carrying them. It wasn't, it's a lot of problems on that team. It wasn't, they weren't very good defensively. And they didn't have a running game that could scare anybody either. Personnel decisions were weak at that point. It was just that you had the freak quarterback and the freak offense, and it got you there. So until the Dolphins prove that they've got another great general manager, you'll never see the Dolphins be great again. It's just that simple. And that's been the missing element throughout. We all focus on the quarterback, but that's because you don't have the right general manager. We all focus on the head coach, but that's because you don't have the right general manager. We all talk about the roster, but that's because you don't have the right general manager. We need the right general manager. So all eyes are on John Eric Sullivan. Joe Thomas built the Dolphins dynasty. Not arguing. But Young and Beathard were also there. And I'm sure they helped and contributed in many ways because they went on to have their own success. It's like the Eagles. Some people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Well, there's a bunch of band members on the Eagles, right? Okay, they're fantastic as a band. But individually, who are the ones that went on to have some major ass success? It's kind of like that. It's as a group, they were great. But then certain individuals took off and they continued to have their own success that the Dolphins didn't. So yeah, that's the problem. And when we get that, you'll see them cross that threshold once again and they'll be great again. It's going on 50 years. That's how long it's been. We've been waiting to have for the Dolphins to be great again. Yeah. Isn't that what Trump was elected for, to make the Dolphins great again? Wasn't that the whole campaign? Oh no, it was America. Oh, I thought it was the Dolphins. Damn it. Why couldn't he focus on the Dolphins? Can't get any worse. We have had too much pain as Dolphin fans. It's time for the football gods to smile on us. It would be nice. The Mercury Morris curse. Kevin, we'll do that if they make the playoffs, buddy. Okay. Again, for those of you out there that still don't get it. Must have been nice to see the Dolphins win it all. Been here 29 years and they haven't won shit. Yeah, I was a kid. But again, as I tell you, think Blue Dodgers, I don't have that much of an edge on you, dude. Just because I was like 7 or 8 years old winning the championships. Yeah, whatever. I saw it as a child, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. And especially a 7 or 8 year old in the early 70s, I am so remedial compared to a 7 or 8 year old in the 2020s now. Oh my God, with technology and everything else, 7 or 8 year olds are way ahead of us 7 or 8 year olds in the early 70s. Yeah. Yeah, it's got, I grew up where you actually had like a real childhood. Thank the Lord, by the way. Blessings. You were able to grow up and be a child, which was good, actually. But sometimes we have our kids grow up way too quickly, bro. Way too quickly. It's kind of good that a 7-year-old doesn't have a phone, doesn't have the internet, and has to go out and, play ball and build clubhouses and boxcars and play stickball and tag and, and football, basketball, baseball seasons, yeah, much better than all the video game stuff and all that. So, yeah, a little different world. So, let's see what else. I actually saw them win both Super Bowls. I followed Shula over from Baltimore in the early 70s. There you go, Brett. Andrew, I was a very young child when the 49ers beat Marino in the Super Bowl. I figured no biggie, we'll be back. Yeah, that's what I thought as was I a senior in high school? Yeah, senior in high school, 85. Yeah, senior in high school. And yeah, we all thought we were going to go back and all that. But you know how stupid we are for thinking that? Shula's drafting like Jay Brophy and shit. How in the hell are you going to get back with Jay Brophy? Seriously. There's no way. The defensive players that he was drafting, my God, and swinging and missing on Sammy Smith, the drug kingpin. Yeah, we were kind of dumb in those days. If we really looked at the big picture and looked at how shitty Shula was as a GM, there's no way. You were asking Marino to overcome the impossible. No defense, no running game, and you're supposed to win a Super Bowl? And then, when you get there, you see how complete those teams were, and Miami was never like that. Marino needed what Bob Greasy had, and Marino never got what Bob Greasy had. That's why Bob Greasy has what Marino never has. Rings. Yeah. Big O was probably more interested in his G.I. Joes at that age. My Tonka truck. I talk about it all the time. I'm watching the Super Bowl playing with my Tonka truck. And then when we score, it's 5. It's 5. There's no high five. That did not exist in the early 70s. Okay? No, that did not exist. That had not come yet. It was, give me 5. That was what my dad would say, give me 5. And then I would give him 5. And I had my little dolphin shirt on. And I remember every week going to the 7-Eleven and getting my cups from Norm Boulash and Zonka and stuff. So, yeah, all that. I remember that stuff. But I remember it, the cups. I remember the Tonka truck. I remember my T-shirt. You know what I mean? It's the plays. It's not something that I remember. Now, as you're older and you've rewatched it and all that other bullshit. But at the moment, yeah, no, dude, you don't think about it that way as a 7-year-old. You just don't, dude. Not especially a 7-year-old in the early 70s. It's a different ball game for somebody like me. And anybody that's lived it, you know what I'm talking about. If you see a 7-year-old now and what we were as 7 and then, it's night and day. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can send in your questions, comments, insults. We always appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Hit the like button. That's another way that you can support us, by hitting the like button. You can also visit our amazing sponsors. Like, of course, Acura of Pembroke Pines will be there tomorrow, actually, hanging out with Larry Schlossberg. I was jamming with Larry Schlossberg last week, actually, and his band Doors Alive. They were live at the Funky Biscuit in Boca. Went up there with the wife, had some dinner, and watched them jam. And right now, they are jamming with the Summer of Performance sales event going on. Mr. Zinn always working hard. His dealerships are always top-notch. The Integra right now, 2026, $239 a month, 2.9% financing for 60 months. The ADX, $289 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The RDX, $419 a month. The MDX, $489 a month. Tell them that Big O sent you. And by the way, if you happen to own or lease an Acura, well, you can get it serviced there. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber do excellent work. Go check them out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Tell them that I sent you. They'll take care of you there at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Yeah, Anthony Carter for Robin Senline. That was a doozy. Yeah, Shula came up with some doozies. Ty in the Bronx is definitely my lunar module toy set. Remember, 71 AFC title game, Big O. Yeah, there you go. You see. Ray says, you used to go into a gas station and get the Dolphins glasses with the Phillip. Was that Sunoco? Was it Sunoco that had that? That 7-Eleven had the cups, but I think Sunoco is the one that had that one that you were saying. Because back then, back then Sunoco was all over the place. Remember 76? 76 was all over the place, the little orange ball with the 76, and people would buy the little orange ball 76 and put it on their antennas and all that. Remember that? Those are little things that I remember from back in the day. Let's see. Joe, you missed Jim Mandich, Rick Weaver, Hank Ober. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Pat in Asheville says, I still have a couple of Dr. Pepper Super Bowl champion bottles from the perfect season. Happy my parents saved these for us. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That is awesome. Yeah, G.I. Joes. We had G.I. Joes in my day. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and even the Kung Fu Grip came in like right towards the end of my childhood, I think. Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, we had a little Kung Fu Grip, bitch. We got that done. That's what it's all about. All right, what do we got here? You send me something there, Pat. I guess I will check it out after, my friend. Thank you for sending it to me. I will wait till I'm done with my work, and then I will go down and sit down in front of my 85-inch television and watch it because it's YouTube. So, yeah, I will definitely check it out. And Street of Dreams, Calle de Sueño. Nice new little jam for YouTube. Cannot wait for their next tour because I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I will be in Ireland for this tour. I will definitely see them in Ireland. Who knows? Maybe even London too, since it's next door. Might as well do that too. What the hell? But this last tour, I'm definitely going to Ireland because I don't know when they'll do another tour again. If they do, maybe they get too old that they do more residencies down the line, which is, by the way, that's what all these old farts should be doing. The Lionel Richies of the world, the Barry Manilow's of the world, the Rod Stewarts of the world, all you old farts that still want to tour. Like, you're old, dude. Why do you want to get on plane after plane after plane after plane and tour and hotel? Get a residency, get a nice hotel that you have the same room and that's your room for the next month or two, and you don't go anywhere, and you have like a stable, scheduled life, and then you can perform. When you're those kind of people, Paul McCartney, whatever, when you're those names, just park your ass one place in the East Coast for a month, park your ass on the West Coast for a month, and that's it. Do MSG for a month, do the Sphere for a month, or Caesars, or whatever the hell you want to do, MGM, and then that's it, dude. Don't tour. I don't really understand that. We don't have that. We don't need that anymore. You got to adjust with the times. And when you're those kind of acts, your fans will gladly fly to you. Gladly. They will not hesitate. Just get it done. And that's it. Do it that way. That's what I would do. And then you risk less sicknesses and sinus, cold issues, all that stuff, because you're not traveling. and you're dealing with less people and you're dealing with less planes and less germs and all that shit. And when you're old, as you get older, you're more susceptible to all that stuff. I don't understand how all these old acts, they don't just do residencies. That's it, dude. You're old already. You paid your dues. You traveled around the world already a bunch of times. You don't need to do that anymore. And if you want to do something in Europe, you go over to the O2 Arena in England, and you do a month there, and that's it. And then your fans in Europe can go visit you there, and they'll gladly. Europe's a lot easier to do it because you got trains everywhere and you can connect and everything. And it's really cool in Europe. So it makes it a lot easier than it does in the US in that sense. But still, overall, that's what I don't understand. Some of these old acts, how they're still touring. To me, it makes zero sense. Bruce Lee posters on my wall. Big O Bruce Lee, Farrah Fawcett, Kiss. I had the Destroyer album cover. I mean, that's my favorite Kiss album. And to me, it's probably the coolest Kiss cover of all time. Not only is it an impeccable album, but it was an album that just affected my childhood so much. So I had the Destroyer poster up. Back in the day, Farrah Fawcett was there. I mean, come on. Who didn't have a Farrah Fawcett poster on the wall? Definitely Bruce Lee with the what is it? The scars or the scratches. Yes, definitely. For sure. I remember those posters automatically. I'm trying to think of if there's another one that was automatic that I had on my wall. Later on, as I got older in my teenage years, I had a room that was full of Iron Maiden stuff. Seriously, like Iron Maiden everywhere. My dad used to walk in and go, "Is this son of a bitch into like devil worshiping or something? What the hell is this?" I'd freak him out with that. My dad had a Super Bowl party in '85. I was 8, and as the game went on, just seeing how disappointed everyone was that night. Oh man, I was so pissed. So pissed. Andrew says all the geezers have residencies in Vegas, Manilow and Wayne Newton. No, but they're no, Manilow's touring, dude. The crazy bastard is touring. So is Lionel Richie, and so is Lionel Richie's touring like with Earth, Wind, and Fire or something. And it's like, why? Paul McCartney tours, like why? They do some residencies. My point is, they're still touring. There's no reasons to tour at all. You should only do residencies. That's my point. But they're literally touring. Barry Manilow is touring, dude. That tough son of a bitch is touring, and he is tough. At his age, to go through all the shit that he's going through, and then he gets back out on the road again, they desperately need this. I'm convinced of that. If they don't have it, it's like they're going to wilter and die, pretty much. It kind of like what happened to Paterno. Paterno even had cancer, and he was coaching through it all. And he might have coached for years. But then once you took coaching away from him, he was done. The life of him was done. Yeah. Because that was who he was, period. End of story. That's sad, by the way. I wish people wouldn't do that to themselves. I wish that they would want to focus more on other things that they have, whether they have a family or not, if they're married and have kids, if they do or don't, but then create some kind of a hobby, find some kind of a charities, find some other things that motivate you in life. You cannot be only about your work and nothing else, because then at one point or another, we're all not going to be able to do that. And then what happens? You're so miserable because that's the only thing you ever wanted to do. Yeah, I think that's something that's not healthy for human beings. I think you should want and have desires to do other things that motivate you, and not only one thing motivates you. And it helps to be married. It helps to have a partner, helps to have kids. It helps to, because all those things will add motivation. I hope there are people that still, they have that and they still don't care without their work they're done, and that's sad, man. Shula demanded strict discipline and authority against Joe Scott, who was an independent free spirit, which led to Scott's trade to the Washington Redskins in '76. Big O, remember all the psychedelic blacklight posters? Yes, yes, I remember the purple and whatever, and you would get a lava lamp. I had that. Yes, definitely. You go to Spencer's or Barefoot Mailman, and you would load up, and obviously they had the best posters. In those days, if you wanted a cool poster, you went to a mall and you found a Spencer's or a Barefoot Mailman. And that's where you bought your Bruce Lee. That's where you bought your Farrah Fawcett poster. That's where they had a section with the freaking light on in the corner, and then poster after poster so you can see how it would look in your room and all that. Yeah, dude, I remember all of that. Like it was yesterday. I remember that. Whether I was in it was called not Malls of the Americas. What was it called? I know Westland Mall, Dadeland Mall. Damn, what was Malls of the America called now? God, it's been so long that I forgot. Midway Mall. That's right, because Midway Skating Center, which was like the smallest rink in the world. And when one person would fall in the heyday, I'm talking about in the 70s and very early 80s, that rink was so packed that one person would fall that would trigger 150 other people falling. I'm sure that at Midway Skating Center, they broke every single fire code that existed in mankind. I can tell you for sure the day that I think he was there more than once, but I saw Casey and the Sunshine Band play live there, and that place was a madhouse, bro. A freaking madhouse. No doubt they broke every fire code possible in that place. Guaranteed. If we ever had a fire in Midway Skating Center, we were all going to die. Half the people there didn't know how to skate. Go backwards in Midway Skating Center and you will die because you're going to have 800 people in front of you falling. Yeah, that was a scary rink in itself. I was more of a Tropical West guy because it was a nice wide rink, right? And you can go fast and all that. It was good, man. That was good. That was a lot of fun. Specs too. Specs also had the posters. You are correct. That is true. But the coolest posters, you got Jaybird. Remember, if you wanted to go a little bit more risque with the posters, you didn't get them at Specs. You got them at Barefoot Mailman and Spencer's. You were going to get the little bit more risque ones there at those places. The ones that may have weed signs or really hot women or something. Such things that would push the envelope a little bit more. You had to get those posters at Spencer's and Barefoot Mailman. But you're right. Kmart had posters. Specs had posters. Trying to remember where else. But yeah, there were a couple places that had posters. I do remember that. Yeah. I want to say, did I say Zares? Yeah. So there were a couple places that you could get posters. Yeah, no doubt about that. But Spencer's and Barefoot Mailman had the best ones for sure. Andrew goes, holy shit, haven't heard about Spencer's or Barefoot Mailman stores for probably 40 years. Well, yeah. That was a long time ago. Barefoot Mailman, man, I haven't heard that in ages, says Brian. Yeah. Big O, did you use silly putty, not sticky putty, silly putty, or similar to Aflex your posters to the wall? Well, see, the problem was, okay, this is what I did with my walls. Back in the day, as you all know, when we were growing up, we didn't have these bullshit walls that you have in most of these houses nowadays. Every wall was concrete, okay? So you weren't putting any damn thumbtacks to it. So my ass, early in my days, I had Scotch tape, but eventually the posters would fall because the Scotch tape would lose its stickum, right? And then you would use black tape or something, masking tape, but then you would also ruin the back of the poster. Then in comes the cork walls. So my mom, we talked about it and we kind of came to it. So when I was like, I think it was like maybe 10, she corked all my walls. All the walls they put on these corked type of walls, really, really thin, but it allowed me to put up my hockey banners, my NBA banners, because I had the small little banners of all the teams. We didn't have a hockey team, but I was a Flyers fan. We didn't have a basketball team, but I was a Sixers fan. So I had all of them of all the teams. I had the NFL teams, obviously, in baseball. In baseball, what I did was I collected the hats is what I did, and I had them on the top. And then I had, posters and all that kind of stuff that I put up. But I was able to put all that stuff up because my mom corked the walls. So she put up these corked walls up against those concrete walls, and then that way I could actually, because it didn't matter if you had a closet that was coming out. Those walls, they weren't going to be cheap walls. They were concrete. Back then when they made houses in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, there was no fake walls. Okay, that just did not happen. Drywall did not exist in those days. They didn't believe in that. It was concrete, fence, concrete, steel bars. I mean, I've seen them knock those walls down, and they were built to last in those days, dude. Okay, those houses weren't going anywhere in those days. So we needed cork on it, and then I can put up all my stuff, and that was cool. That was cool. What else? Tell me how. What is it? You said the Marlins don't spend money on players. Tell me how good that has paid off for the Dolphins over the years. Not on any bandwagon, bro. Like I've said, I am not following until they get to the playoffs. I'm not living and dying on a team that is winning on a budget. And then you're crying like little bitches about, oh, they pulled the guy in a no-hitter, a perfect game, and all that. You know what I mean? If I have a real team, they're going for the perfect record. They're going for a no-hitter. They're trying to win a championship, all that kind of stuff. At least the Dolphins try. I'm not going to root for anything that doesn't try. I don't know how many times I have to explain that. The Panthers sucked for many years. I kept rooting for them. They were trying. They didn't know what the hell they were doing, but they were trying. So at least I can root for that. This is all phony bullshit. None of you cared about the Marlins just a couple of months ago when they were losing games. And then when they were way under 500, nobody cares. Nobody brings up a text. You're all phony as shit, dude. There were 10,000 people out there yesterday. Nothing. It's not a big deal, dude. Whatever, it's July. If they make it in October, then we'll talk about it. And if they don't, I really don't give a shit. I don't know how many times I have to tell you guys. If you're not going to try, I'm not going to bother anymore. This isn't this year, Douglas. I haven't watched the Marlins game in years. This is nothing new, dude. You make it sound like it's new. Do you listen to the open of the show? Listen to the teams that are mentioned. The Marlins aren't mentioned. That's been going on since I wrote it initially, or since Steven Carter created it 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, whatever it was. I gave up on them. I didn't watch the Fernandez years. I wasn't watching Stanton and all those guys, Yelich and all that. I didn't care about it either then. And I said it openly. I only watch Fernandez games to watch him pitch. And the second he walks off the mound that they pull out for a reliever, I turn off the game. So this is nothing new, Douglas. Because you're a little butthurt bitch that you had to chime in about it now. Sorry, dude, this is nothing new. I will not root for a team that does not try to keep players, that does not want to re-sign. And Douglas, what has the Tampa Bay Rays and the Oakland A's won with Moneyball? Because they don't keep their players either. How many championships have they won since they've gone Moneyball? The A's have to go back to the days when they actually used to collect players. That's when they used to win. But now they don't win anything. And yeah, they come up with decent regular seasons, and so does Tampa. And where are the banners? So that's fine, dude. Look, enjoy yourself, all that. I never heard from you when they were losing. I never heard from you all last year when they sucked, or the year before. But now you chime in because now things are going well. You're a bandwagon. You're the guy that you keep complaining about. I'm real. I'm very open about this. I don't care. And by the way, why do you give a shit that I have to give a shit? I don't understand that part. If you know that that's part of the show, let it go, dude. You're not going to get anything out of it because I'm not going to talk about the team or anything like that. Am I talking about what's going on in the field? Not at all. I'm just telling you what's going on that you obviously don't get. But the part that I find hilarious is why you give a shit about it. That's the hilarious part. Like, why? Who cares? If you like it, bro, that's your deal. You go ahead. You worry about it. Not me. It's not a concern. It's not even on my radar. Don't even watch it. Don't care. They don't exist. Like I said, if they get to the playoffs, then I'll watch it. That's it. Pat in Asheville, we were so poor, we could only afford light, not black light. Thank you, Ty in the Bronx. Yeah, that was that cork came in clutch. Big Johnson says the old wood panel walls would work. LOL. Yeah, definitely. They were all corky, all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Those gumball machine football helmets would never fit my head. I have a bunch of them around here. The Dolphins, Panthers, Canes, and the Heat, the Big O show. Yes, yes. And Inter. We talk about everything except the Marlins. We just don't care. Just don't care. When they care and they care to invest money in the team, then I will care and talk about it. But if you're not going to invest, I'm not investing my time, my emotion, my money, none of it. I'm not investing a damn thing in the team. So you invest, then I'll invest. You don't, because you want to like fool the system and all that, whatever, bro. And if you fool the system, then I'll watch you in the playoffs. But I'm not going to watch the regular season and waste my time and waste my emotions. You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. Let's see. I believe it's called sticky tack to fix posters to walls in the 70s. Silly putty was a separate compound used for bouncing or stretching. Oh, okay. Okay. You know what? I didn't use that sticky tack. And maybe I don't know if I remember it now. I'm going to have to like Google or YouTube that shit to see if I see it out there, if there's commercials. Big O, you have Jose Fernandez. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to watch him because I know he was going to end up with the Yankees. So I wanted to enjoy the games that he pitched while he was with us, because they were never going to re-sign him, dude. You know what I mean? Because that's what they are. And I didn't watch those teams, Yelich and all that kind of stuff. The only reason I would watch him is only on the Jose Fernandez outings. That's it. That's the only reason I watched. Sorry. want to watch the Cuban kid. I wonder why. But I knew he would be gone, and I knew it was a really special pitcher that we were going to have here for a short time. I didn't think it was because of the other shit. I wish the kid would have had his head screwed on right. But yeah, it just sucks, man. Sucks. So that's why I don't bother with these people at all. Dolphins do try. They spend money just on the wrong people. Exactly. And I'll be a fan for that. If you're going to try, I can be a fan for the Dolphins. I can be the Heat. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, dude. For 10 plus years now, I've been telling you what a bunch of screw-ups the Heat are before they screw up. Constantly. I'm tired of talking about how much Pat Riley and the front office screw up in the last 10 or 12 years. And I'm still a fan. Because they're trying. Completely disagree with the way they're going about it, but they're trying. They went and acquired Giannis. Are these guys going to acquire a star to help put them over the top or two? No, dude. Of course not. Not going to do that. They're going to go cheap, like what they are, and try to fool the system. You know, because the Rays and the A's, man, dude, they're collecting. You see how much hardware those teams are collecting with Moneyball? Yeah. Problem is, all the other teams figured out Moneyball and they added actual money to it. It's a problem with Moneyball, isn't it? It's like an oxymoron. Oh, we're going to win. We're going to call it Moneyball because the others are spending money and we're not. We're going to fool the system. Okay, so where are the championships? How'd you fool them? Where are they? Because the cupboard's bare, man. There's nothing there. We're like, what do you got? Still see the Dodgers winning. They're spending. What are you guys doing? Yeah, I'm not out to do all that and try to get emotional on a team that isn't going to spend. Are they going to sign Sandy to a long-term contract eventually, or are they going to eventually just trade him? Yeah, you worry about that. You cry after they trade him and all that kind of stuff. What was it? I think it was Joe, and I was in the car the other day, and he was like, oh, man, I hope they don't trade Sandy. And I'm laughing my ass off because that's what a pathetic Marlins fan sounds like. So you're hoping that the cheap-ass team that isn't committed to anything doesn't trade players that they're forced to pay. And then you're going to get pissed off and sad about it. How pathetic are you? How insane are you? Because the definition of insanity is expecting something to change when same thing's going to happen over and over again. That's a Marlins fan that thinks things will get better is the definition of insanity. That's what you are. I haven't gone to a Marlins game since they left Joe Robbie Stadium. I invested a like to the stream. I don't know what that means, Luke, but thank you anyways. Pat says, I used to have to beg like an English street urchin to get a quarter to buy those gumball helmets. It was glorious when I finally got a Dolphin one. Yeah, dude. Yeah. God, it would take you forever to get that Dolphin one. You'd end up getting 3 Cardinals, and you're like, fuck the Cardinals. And you're like, and then you get a Ram, and you're like, bro, I want a Dolphin. And then they hand you a Patriot. And then you're like, I want a Dolphin. And you end up with 3 Browns. Yeah. No, I'm with you. You always feel like they purposely stuck in the shitty teams a couple of extra times in that thing. Because you would end up with some of the shitty teams all the time, dude. All the time. Anyway. Everything is going to change when there's a salary. There ain't going to be no. Oh, Douglas, now I know. Okay. Now, dude, that's it. I already know what kind of a fan you are, dude. That's it. Okay, I get it now, dude. I get it. So, did you expect the Mexicans to pay for the wall? No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. You thought the ballroom would be privately funded. Is that it? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. When Janet Yellen told you a couple years ago that inflation was transitory, you believe that too, right? Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. When they told you that the war would last 3 to 4 weeks, you believe that also? Douglas, I have a bridge in the Keys. I got it for sale, bro. Seriously. When you go down the 7 Mile, there's one right next to it. I'll sell it to you. I'll sell it to you. My man thinks that MLB players are going to agree to a salary cap. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. Yes. We want to restrict it. Yes, of course. Yes. And the Marlins are also going to start spending too. Okay, Douglas, we got you, bro. We got you, bro. Do you live with, are there rainbows and unicorns in your world also there, Douglas? Just wondering. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on, Douglas. I got something for you, Douglas. I really do. I think you'll enjoy this.
Come on in to Toyota of Hollywood, where curiosity and extraordinary deals await you. Your golden ticket buys a 2025 Corolla, not $26,000, $17,988. And we've got sweet deals with 0% financing for 72 months, 0 down. Enter our world of wonder, and we'll show you why we're the #1 volume Toyota dealer. Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
I think that's the closest I could come to giving you like unicorns and rainbows, because I remember there were kind of those colors there for you. You know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. It's the closest thing I have in a commercial that has like rainbows and unicorns just for you. Just for you. The naivete. You exposed yourself exactly. The poetry spewed on this show is just something that, yeah, that's alien to you, unfortunately, my brother. Alien. Marlins and Rays are a farm team for the rest of baseball. Exactly. That's it. I'm with you, Woodson. Go Marlins. I'd like to see a playoff game. What the hell? And good for those players, for the Marlins, because if you want to get off the Marlins, you play your way off the Marlins. Kick ass, they can't pay you. You gotta go. Anyway, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Oh, we crossed 63,000 Bitcoin right now. How about that? And the markets, are we more in the green? Yes, we are. The Dow is up 123 points. The S&P is up 36. The NASDAQ is up 3 now. And SpaceX right at $150. There we go. What else do we have? So Timmy Hardaway gave in. His number 10 that is retired for the Miami Heat in the rafters. Well, the junior, Tim Hardaway Jr. will end up wearing it. He was talking all kinds of crap that no way he was going to give his son a chance to wear it. Although I will say this, if Tim Jr. was young, you don't ask for the number. You want to make your own mark. But he's an older player now. He's 34 years old. There's no mark to be made now. He's going to be a role player. That's the best he can do right now. Come off the bench, hit a couple threes, and that's it. So wear your old man's number, because there's no way you can do enough to retire a number here, right? On your own, and have two Hardaways up there. It's too late. Those days passed already. Not that he was ever going to be that kind of a player or was that kind of a player, but he would have had to have come here 10 years ago, 12 years ago, in the early part of his career. And that at that moment, I bet you he gets a different number then, because he gets an opportunity to make his own mark on the team. But now at this point, kind of following the footsteps and the honor and all that kind of stuff, I get it. I do get it. I understand it's blood. I mean, there's nothing thicker than that. Timmy's a good dude, bro. I saw Junior many times playing at the Miami Arena when I was covering Senior all the time. And I've gotten to hang out with Senior several times, smoking cigars and talking smack with him. Really good dude, and I'm not surprised that he folded for his son, because what else are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. I'll tell you something that I have been kind of, I was turned off by the Marlins a long time ago. Maybe Douglas is new to the whole thing now, but obviously it's been kind of a thing. You know what I'm also been turned off by lately? The WNBA. And I want to thank Candace Parker, because she, at least, one of the great players in the history of that game. And she's out there, and this whole stuff that's going on with Caitlin Clark and this league, I've gotten to a point now where I'm so pissed at this league that I watch it less now. I watch it less because Josh Bartelstein and Kathy Engelbert, which is the CEO and the commissioner of the WNBA, are as useless as it gets. I have never seen a more unprofessional league in the history of mankind since the NBA of the 70s. The one that was filled with cocaine and all kinds of problems, that we had the finals in the early 80s on tape delay, wasn't even on live. That's because the league had some issues, and then Magic and Bird saved the league, basically. The NBA in those days was a disgrace. Well, the WNBA is a disgrace. They're a cheesy, clown-ass organization. I would fire every person on there. If I'm the owners, I would get this shit straightened out, because the stuff that goes on out there, and I thank Candace Parker, because she went out there and says, it's kind of crazy. I wholeheartedly believe that there needs to be some rules with the WNBA players, because this is getting out of hand. She said, Caitlin Clark voted the 11th best guard by WNBA players. That's crazy. I think people need to look at themselves in the mirror and realize you've got some insecurities. If you're sitting down and putting Caitlin Clark the 11th best guard, she continued, y'all need to go to therapy and figure out what childhood issues you have, because if you're sitting there and looking at yourself in the mirror and putting her at 11th best guard, come on. And obviously we can then start to also talk about the fouls and the penalties and the cheap shots that they're allowed to take at her. One of the things that I'm a little pissed off at Caitlin Clark is she needs to retaliate a little bit more. She needs to stop. Look, she's being treated with no class. The people that are committing fouls on him are scumbags. Okay? That's what these women are. They're absolute trash. Street trash. That can't grow up and can't figure it out. And they're jealous, racist, whatever it is. And this is nothing new. I've said this before, that there's plenty of jealousy and plenty of racism, obviously, in the WNBA, because they have a problem with a white woman being really good. Obviously. and one that got all the attention, and then, oh no, look at us. It's terrible. It's pathetic. These women are pathetic. This league is an embarrassment. It has no leadership. It has no guts. It has no discipline whatsoever, and certainly no class. And you know what? I expect more from women than from men. I expect us to be the lesser of the two genes. I expect women to be much more mature and handle things the right way more than men, actually. And man, what a bunch of petty ass bitches in the WNBA. It's disgusting, dude. It's disgraceful. I didn't see golfers like purposely trying to hurt Tiger or something like that. No, they overall embraced it because they're like, holy shit, this guy's changing golf and this guy's bringing money. Sure, was there some bias? Of course. It's a black man. But overall, it got very embraced. And that's exactly what should be going on in the WNBA. Embrace anyone and everyone that gets popularity. I just don't understand that. And somebody that brings you more money, more attention, all of that should be embraced. It's like the MLS players going out there and purposely trying to hurt Messi. That would be stupid. That's your cash cow. When he comes to town, more people are watching, more people are in the seats. It's your job to beat him. That's how you make it more entertaining, not trying to go blow out his knee or something like that. And the shit that goes on in the WNBA and the cheap shots that Caitlin Clark takes. And again, if I'm her, I would have taken some serious self-defense classes in the offseason, and I'd be hurting some bitches that take some cheap shots. I'd make them think twice. That's what I would do if I'm Caitlin Clark. It's time for her to retaliate. Seriously. She's taken too much of the high road in all of this. She doesn't have a league that defends her, and obviously it's a league that's incompetent. And since you've got a whole bunch of women that got a bunch of hate in them, yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So good for Candace Parker. She went to a place, didn't go far enough, but that's all right. I'll go far enough. I'll go far enough and call it like it is. It's a racist, dirty, pathetic, petty, embarrassing league. Grow the hell up. That's what I would tell the people in the WNBA. Grow the hell up. And I would tell the people of leadership, show them the door. Get them out of there and bring people in that are going to bring some discipline to the league. And pass out some real suspensions to people for pulling dirty ass shit that they're pulling out there. It's basketball. It's not a street game out there. Freaking no class whatsoever, dude. Absolute trash in the NBA. Street trash. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Send in your questions, comments, insults. You can do all of that. We appreciate it immensely. What salary cap? They couldn't stop the players from going on strike in 94. I mean, yeah, it's come on, bro. That's naivete. Douglas says, look, brother, I don't need the insults. I'm just telling you that listen, brother, that's how it goes on this show. You don't like it, you can get lost. All right? That's how it goes, bro. I insult myself all the time. So if you don't like the insults, first of all, I'd tell you to grow the fuck up. That's what I'd tell you first. Grow up and find out what's really going on in the world. Okay? But if you want to live in rainbows and unicorns, sorry, dude, I'm going to tell you that you're full of shit. That's what's going to happen here. If I think you're full of shit, I'll tell you you're full of shit. And most people on the chat board know you're full of shit. Because most of them know Marlins aren't going to spend, and all of them know there's not going to be a salary cap in baseball. Are you kidding me? Salary cap in baseball. Those people will never have any kind of a hard cap whatsoever, dude. They already came up with the tax. That's it. If anything, they want to reverse it and make sure that the Marlins get less tax because they don't keep their players, so they're just using the tax money and profiting it. That's what they'll probably do more than anything else. They'll say, no, forget a cap. Let's get rid of these bums that don't spend money. These teams that are just taking our tax money. That's what they're going to say. Big O, beyond Chris Bell, who else are you excited from the draft? Oh, I love the Kazmarek kid, Jacob Rodriguez. The Pittsburgh kid, what is he? Lions or something? What's the name of the little linebacker safety? He's a fantastic player. I like the slot receiver also. There's a couple guys I like in the draft, actually. Yeah. Caden Proctor is a very intriguing pick. We'll see if he can play guard at this level. He's probably maybe better suited for tackle, but that'll be interesting. There's a lot of guys that I'm interested in. By the way, I'm interested in the Wisconsin linebacker that came in that was undrafted. Greiger, whatever. I haven't remembered all the names, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not in that mode yet right now, but you kind of know who the hell I'm talking about in some of those players that I'm talking about. So yeah, dude, there's a bunch of guys that I want to see. Kyle Lewis, that's it. Thank you, Trent. Yeah, I love that kid. He's a jackrabbit. He's going to be all over the place. He's going to help you a lot on passing downs. Yeah, they got what I thought Sully did well in this draft was get coverage linebackers, because as I told you guys last year many times over, you know, the linebackers you do have, they're good, but they suck at coverage. Sorry. Neither one is good at coverage. Brooks does everything else well, not good at coverage. Sorry. Both guys are like that. And Jacob Rodriguez, Kyle Lewis, these kind of guys, these guys can cover. They're athletic. They can run. I don't know about the other kid, the pass rusher, Trey Moore. We'll see about him. I got some questions on him. I got questions on the big receiver in the 4th round. God, what's his name now? Again, I just haven't remembered all the names yet. But he's got some physical issues. I need to see if he can control the ball in the air and fight for the ball. And he drops the ball way too much. So that's a guy that I'm a little concerned about. We'll see. We'll see. Sov shouldn't be listening. There's no bigger fan of the Marlins than me, and I know better than to bring it up with Big O. Yeah, it's just not something that I really care about, man. You know. And here's Rosendo with common sense. The owners will never agree to that. Most likely outcome is revenue sharing for the poor. Teams get increased and a cap gets put on deferrals. Yeah, they're not going to agree to any of that. The players' union aren't going to agree to that. It's too strong of a union. They'd rather the owners control themselves. They don't want to put any kind of brakes on it. Plus, there are certain ownership groups that they just don't need a cap. And they're fine without a cap, dude. And you're not going to change that. It gives them an advantage over other teams. It won't happen. Players' union won't allow it either. And they'll strike and they'll cripple the sport. And you won't be able to replace the players. You won't be able to do scabs, none of that stuff. They got them by the balls. They always have, and they always will have them by the balls. By the way, if you're a Heat fan, some pretty cool news. I mean, it's nothing real big, overall. But they had the Yahoo Sports, Kevin O'Connor, who does a nice job covering the NBA, and he's like considered one of their senior writers. He mentioned the top 50 NBA players at the Summer League. And remember, Miami didn't have a first round pick. They only had a second round pick. And some of the AJ DeBansa, the Caleb Wilson kid, Cameron Boozer, Darren Peterson, the obvious names were at the top. But there was one name that was at number 23 overall. And considering that you only had a second round pick, that's pretty good for the Miami Heat to have their second round pick as a 23rd best player in the Summer League right now, when, second round isn't anything special. And right now you see it. This is what he wrote. Conwell was drafted with the 37th pick and signed a two-way contract. But if LeBron James doesn't return to Miami, he could end up as a pretty important part of the rotation. Miami badly needs shot creation in the backcourt. After dumping nearly everything to acquire Giannis, Conwell began to show signs of what he can offer in the California Classic. He comes to the league with experience. By the end of his senior year, he was a leading scorer of the Cardinals at 18.8 points per game, a knockdown shooter with deep range, and a bruiser at the rim who absorbs contact like a fullback. Like I was talking about that receiver. My top comparisons for him, Norman Powell, who shined this year with the Heat, but signed with the Bulls in free agency. Maybe Conwell can fill those shoes as a rookie. So it's nice to see that in the Vegas Summer League, Ryan Conwell is one of the top 25 players there, and he's a second-round pick for the Heat, considering you got a bunch of first-rounders, some second-year players there in the Summer League. That kind of, puts you deep in the whole roster of it, and you're at number 23, considering, at least that's what Kevin O'Connor says, his opinion of it. That's a nice confirmation of what the Heat made in Ryan Conwell. Again, I'm not going to put like a ton of expectations on the kid in his rookie season because that's just not fair to him. I know the Heat need him desperately, but it's also kind of unrealistic for us to expect it. But it would be nice, you know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to mention it because you got the Vegas Summer League now coming up, and you could start watching it and watch a kid like Ryan Conwell and see if he actually has, a future overall. The Heat have done a nice job of drafting. Okay. They haven't tanked so they can draft the better players, but from where they pick, they've done overall a pretty good job. And we'll see if Ryan Conwell becomes a hit. Who knows? Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Visit our friends, by the way, at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. They do great work over there. Alan is the general manager. And folks, if you want to dump the gas and you want to go electric, the Uncharted is awesome. They've got the Uncharted Sport GT, which has 336 horsepower, all symmetrical wheel drive. It is absolutely awesome. The Trail Seeker, 375 horsepower, has 280-mile range. And by the way, their batteries, whether it's the Uncharted, the Trail Seeker, or the Solterra, they go from 10 to 80% fully charged in 28 minutes. And for those of you that are wondering, well, wait a minute, man, if I have to travel, what about charging stations? There are 25,000 charging stations now across the country. And you have a GPS that's built into the system in the car that will tell you where the nearest charging station is. So that's, and besides, when you buy a Subaru, you will get your own charger that you can plug in at home or anywhere. You could take it with you on the go. If you're visiting somebody, across the state or whatever, and you want to take the charger with you, you can charge it right at their house or whatever. Not a problem. So you'll have a backup charger with you the entire time. The Solterra, by the way, it has 288 miles. It's a beautiful vehicle. Go check it out. They've got the Premium, the Limited XT, the Touring XT Leather. So many different styles. The Trail Seeker, they've got the premium, they've got the limited, the touring leather. So check out all the different Trail Seekers. That's my favorite one, by the way. The Trail Seeker is the one that I want to get next. Go check it out, 16100 Pines Boulevard. Go see Alan, go see Eric Stampone. Tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you there at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. All right. Okay. Any news coming up? No, I don't see anything right now. But they're dying to make a deal. That's the news that's out there. They're dying to make a deal because they've been dying to make a deal for months. That's what they've been doing. Oh, man. All right, what else do we have that I wanted to talk about in the world of deportes? By the way, the Dirty Sanchez trial has been delayed again. For those of us waiting to see the outcome of Dirty Sanchez, once again, you will not get the trial yet. So, unfortunately, we won't find out what kind of jail sentence he ends up with because he should go to jail. But the criminal trial has been delayed again, this time to September 8th. Jarrett Lewis of WIBC reports that this is now the fifth time the Sanchez trial, which was scheduled to begin on July 13th, has been delayed. The former NFL quarterback Sanchez is facing felony battery charges, as well as 3 other misdemeanor charges in relation to a stabbing incident that occurred last October in Indianapolis. Sanchez allegedly got into a late-night parking dispute with a 69-year-old truck driver, Perry Toll, resulting in an ugly physical confrontation that left Sanchez hospitalized with multiple stab wounds. Oh, man, when you got money, you buy yourself some time. That's what they do in this situation. And the dude with money, although he'll be using a lot of his money and he won't be able to make that money back because he had a nice job. They pay you pretty good money to be an announcer and a color guy. So he was making good money. Maybe not, top notch, but he was making good money. By the way, Mark Sanchez didn't do a bad job. Okay? Drugs and all, allegedly. He was doing a pretty good job. I don't know what he was doing at night, but somehow or another, he was able to get straightened up to survive and do a decent broadcast. So he actually, I'm not telling you he was great, but he wasn't horrible or anything. He actually did a decent job. And he ruined that. He's done. He's never going to get another chance again doing that stuff. So you're not going to be able to make that kind of money again. He'll be using a lot here to defend himself. Oh, and by the way, he's racking up time now because as you stretch this out, you still got to pay a lawyer on retainer for the whole process. And the longer you stretch it out, the more money you end up using in your legal fees. We'll see how that one turns out. We'll see. Steph Curry does not sound necessarily confident about LeBron James coming to the Warriors. And the reports have been that it looks, more like Cleveland, maybe Philadelphia, things like that. Miami has been mentioned, although I think Miami is kind of like leverage or last resort or something like that. But anyway, on Wednesday, Curry was asked about playing with James, and he says, I'd say more I'm interested to just play golf with LeBron, Curry said as he prepares for the American Century Championship at the Edgewood Tahoe golf course. We'll handle the basketball stuff, but I want to see the golf LeBron free agent. He's out here really grinding on the game, but I'm sure we obviously would love to play together. I mean, hopefully it happens, but he deserves the opportunity and the right to take his time with the decision, Curry added. Just kind of, it almost sounds like Curry is hearing, yeah, maybe this LeBron thing isn't as concrete coming here, and that Cleveland has more of an inside track, which the Cavs just make sense. I mean, for me, I think Philly's the best one out of the two, but the Cavs or Philly, that just makes sense. And I've said this over and over and over again. If he really wants to win, if he wants to make life easier on him, well, the easiest will be to go to Cleveland because you go back to your hometown. But taking on the challenge of the Sixers, if you lead them to a championship, you have now won 4 championships on 4 different teams. That becomes, pretty cool. That's something that nobody's ever done. You know what I'm saying? That's impressive as hell if you're able to do that. Plus, you're doing it in Philly, tough town, all of that. Yeah, that would really add to it all. I don't think people talk about his legacy and that if he goes to Philadelphia, it'll take away from it. His legacy is what it is. He's a mercenary. He's one of the greatest players of all time, but he's kind of a mercenary. He bounced around. He went from Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland to Los Angeles, and now wherever he goes again. And so he's kind of a bit of a gypsy. It is what it is. What are you going to do? I mean, I think at Los Angeles was his longest tenure. And his shortest one was here, and this is the one that he was the most successful. I really don't understand why he left. If he would have stuck it out, they would have figured out ways, and they would have had another chance or two to get it done. But whatever, it is what it is. That's water under the bridge. You can't do anything about that. He's got his own agenda. But I don't think this takes away from his legacy at all. In fact, if he goes to Philadelphia and actually wins, it enhances his legacy even more now. Because, going to 4 different teams and winning a championship in 4 different cities, that's impressive, dude. That's one thing that none of us could ever argue or say, oh, no, that's it. You can't. This is cheesy. This doesn't make sense. This hurts your legacy. No, I don't think anybody with a brain will say that. I think it'll enhance his legacy if he can actually win a championship with the Sixers. It'll be a great ending if he can win it with the Cavs, but I don't think it'll enhance his legacy because it'll be the 5th championship. That'll be cool for him. He'll be one behind Jordan. But the Philly one, he takes a 4th different team to a title. That's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome. So I think he has chances to enhance his legacy. I don't think he has any chance of hurting his legacy. It's already etched in stone. It's done. I don't think I think that's just people that want to just hate to hate, basically, is what they're doing. But Steph didn't sound as confident. When he starts with the golf stuff, instead of actually talking about, he's got to play with us. We got to have him here. He's got to, we want him to, he's earned this right, but come on, LeBron, you got to openly recruit. I mean, the Philly GM, the former Warriors guy, he openly recruited LeBron on a podcast with LeBron's agent sitting there. He did not hold back whatsoever. And he talked about LeBron joining that team. Yeah. And I saw Wendy mention, which I didn't know this, which is a great stat, that Philly was the worst assist team in the NBA. Wow. That's awesome. That's exactly what you need. You need a guy like LeBron, a guy that can facilitate, his high IQ, get the offense going, get people in the right position, find the right person, make the right pass. Yeah, that's why I say that Philly and Cleveland are his best opportunities, because he doesn't have to carry anything. He just has to complement and facilitate, and they'll be fine. He has more than enough around him. But if he comes to Miami or he goes to Golden State, he has to help and carry a lot more of the water. And that puts more of a burden on a 40-year-old, like he had in Los Angeles, that it was a burden. He had to carry them more in order to be competitive or win a game. He won't have to do that in Cleveland or Philly. The burden on him to score won't be there. There's plenty of scorers around him. He can just play the IQ game, and then he'll make them that much better because of that. So, anyway. Big O, I have finally grown tejas. Thrilla Gorilla. Nice. The Big O Dolphin fans need to grow tejas. Well, you and I know, that's the key to life is tejas. But what can I say? Some of us have that gift and some of us don't. Look at Harlan from Norway. Why is he great? Because he has tejas. See what I'm saying? There you go. The tejas gives you some power. Oh. Anyway. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Let's go to birthdays. Let's do that, man. Let's start off with musicians and politicians and famous people, actors, all kinds of stuff. First of all, I'd be remiss if I did not mention, rest in peace, Bonnie Tyler passing away today, the great Scottish singer at the age of 75. She was dealing with an illness. Forgot what it was, but unfortunately she ends up passing away. I saw that. I saw it late last night, actually. Let's see. Let's start off with musicians. All right. Aaron Sterling, drummer for John Mayer since 2011, born in 1980. Isaac Brock, singer with Modest Mouse, born in 75. Jack White, American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and producer. John Gillis with White Stripes. You know him as Jack White, born in 75. Simon Tong, English guitarist and keyboardist with The Verve, born in 72. Kelvin Grant, vocalist with Musical Youth, born in 71. Frankie Bello, bassist with Anthrax, born in 65. Tom Hingley from Inspiral Carpets, born in 65. Jim Kerr from Simple Minds, born in 59. Mark Allman from, Soft Cell, Little Tainted Love, born in 59. D.H. Peligro, he's the second drummer for the Dead Kennedys from 81 until their breakup in 1986, born in 1959. Peligro then joined the Red Hot Chili Peppers in 88, replacing drummer Jack Irons for a short time. Sadly, he passed away in October of 2022. Debbie Sledge from Sister Sledge, born in 54. Mitch Mitchell, drummer with the Jimi Hendrix Experience, born in 47. Bon Scott, Ronald Belford Scott, the former lead singer and original lead singer of AC/DC. Sadly, we lost him in 1980. Alcohol poisoning. Let's see who else. Don McPherson. No, not the quarterback from Syracuse. Come on. No, not that Don McPherson. The singer of the R&B group Main Ingredient, born in 41. And that is it for musicians. Now we move over to other famous people born on July 9th. If I don't give you an age, that means sadly they have passed away. Actor Brian Dennehy, born in 38. Actor Richard Roundtree, badass, born in 42. Writer Dean R. Koontz, born in 45. He's 81. Murderer and football star O.J. Simpson, born in 47. Musician, radio personality John Tesh, born in 52. He's 74. Businessman, TV personality, and overall really full of shit, Kevin O'Leary, born in 54. He's 72. Actor Jimmy Smits, born in 55. He's 71. Actor Tom Hanks, born in 56. He's 70. Actress Kelly McGillis, born in 57. She's 69. Musician Jim Kerr of Simple Minds, born in 59. He's 67. Actor Pamela Andalone, born in 66. She's 60. Actor Fred Savage, born in 76. He's 50. Actor Mitchell Musso, born in 91. He's 35. Actor Douglas Booth, born in 92. He's 34. And actress Georgie Henley, born in 95, 31. And those are birthdays on July 9th. Now, let's move over to what happened today in music history. And we'll start off in 58. Johnny Cash signed to Columbia Records, where he remained for the next 30 years and released more than 60 albums. In 77, Elvis Costello quit his job at Elizabeth Arden Cosmetics to become a full-time musician. I think that was a good move. In 83, the Police started an 8-week run at #1 in the U.S. singles charts with Every Breath You Take. In 88, Cheap Trick went to #1 on the U.S. singles charts with The Flame, the group's only U.S. #1. In 91, the Ghetto Boys released their third album, We Can't Be Stopped, and it features Mind Playing Tricks on Me. In 95, on this date, the Grateful Dead gave their last concert with leader Jerry Garcia at Chicago's Soldier Field. In 96, Prince released his 18th studio album, Chaos and Disorder, and it features Dinner with Dolores. In 2002, the Red Hot Chili Peppers released their 8th studio album, By the Way, and it features By the Way, the Zephyr song, Can't Stop, and Universally Speaking. In 2013, Lauryn Hill began a 3-month prison sentence in Connecticut for tax evasion. Lazy about everything. Showing up to concerts or paying your taxes. Just lazy. What an underachiever Lauryn Hill is. She could have done so much more. In 2019, after years of animosity that kept Ann and Nancy Wilson apart, Heart regrouped their Love Alive tour, which kicked off with a show in St. Louis. The supporting acts included the amazing all-women's lineup of Joan Jett, Sheryl Crow, Brandi Carlile, and Elle King. A hell of a lineup, dude. That's a great lineup. Elle King doesn't get enough credit, man. She's good. In 2021, Vince Staples released his self-titled 4th studio album, and it features Are You With That? Other birthdays, Cowboy singer Eddie Dean, whose 48 hit One Has My Name was born in 1907. Pop singer and actor Ed Ames, who enjoyed a 67 hit My Cup Runneth Over, was born in 27. Bluegrass musician Jesse McReynolds was born today in 1929. Tom Hanks is 70 years old. I think I mentioned that just in case. And Mandy Lee of Mr. Wives is 34. Have no idea. Never heard of the band Mr. Wives, but it just sounded like a funky name. I figured I would mention it. And that's what happened today in Musica history. All right. Let's see. Come on, Big O. He was found not guilty. Remember, if the gloves don't fit, you must acquit. Those are facts. Those are facts. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with the great Johnny Cochran. That dude knew how to get it done, I got to say. Don't forget, use our code Big O Show, Big O10, and you will get 10% off Big O10. Cash App or Venmo. Oh, Cash App. At Caneswear, caneswear.com, 2655 South University Drive. You do it online or in person. And also online, if you order over $99, you'll get free shipping. Jeff will have that shipped right away. Go see Brett, Jeff, Jack, Ken Graff, all the amazing people out there at Subaru. At Caneswear. Boy, I am going cuckoo. Okay, what else do we have going on in the world of sports? Geno Smith. Brother, Geno Smith has got to slow down. Literally. Now you're busted for speeding? What kind of an offseason is this for Geno Smith, dude? First, you had the domestic issue that apparently wasn't a domestic issue, but still had somebody come over and all that. You just signed with the Jets, and you have your coach saying that you're the next coming of the great one there. In June, police stopped an assault investigation in Florida. More recently, now Smith was ticketed for speeding. Rich Cimini, in an appearance on Jets Collective podcast, that it happened on July 6th, roughly at 11 a.m. per Cimini. Smith was driving 70 miles an hour in a 45-mile-an-hour zone. Smith was cited for not being able to produce a license. In isolation, as Cimini said, it's not a big deal, but Smith is the starting quarterback of the Jets, and there's already an unresolved cloud hanging over him. Anything he does is going to make news. Cimini hasn't tweeted about it on his account, and there's no item on ESPN.com, but he said it on Jets Collective, and others have picked up on it. So, he's on Jets Collective with my man Dan, who I know very well. But wow, that's you're already starting to like add things up, and if you start to struggle, fans are immediately going to use the stuff that happened to you in the offseason, whether it's relevant or not, because it's probably irrelevant, but they'll say, oh, this guy hasn't been focused. He had that domestic issue, but whatever happened there. And then now the speeding, since he signed, he's been a mess, and now he's not playing well. This is what's going to happen. So that part that he says in isolation, it's not a big deal, but Smith is the starting quarterback of the New York Jets. That becomes a problem because you're in New York. I don't know what Geno's doing, but I would tell Geno, yo, dude, like, do whatever you can to like watch everything that you're doing so you don't end up in the news. Because it's not going to help you, because all you're going to do is, these are questions you're going to be asked about. Now, at camp, you'll be asked about it at one point or another. You'll be asked about your off season and all that, and so it's a distraction that you'll have to deal with. Yeah, you want as little distractions as possible. As you can see, the U.S. soccer team was so weak, they couldn't handle the distraction of the whole Trump red card thing. And by the way, please don't feed me the bullshit that the U.S. team had no idea pretty much what was going on, and that they found out that it was a thing pretty much after the game. Please. Everybody's got phones. Everybody's got social media. Stop lying to us. Because people want to make it sound, well, the U.S. team really wasn't listening or hearing much about that, this and that. They felt there was a bigger thing after when they lost, and then it came to light. Bullshit. That's a lie. You saw it on social media. You heard it from your wife. You heard it from your friends. You heard it from your family members leading up to the game. You heard it from your coach. You talked about it within your teammates. You heard it. It was worldwide news. And clearly they couldn't handle. They were so weak-minded, which again, as much as whether you like or dislike Trump or whatever, and I'm in the dislike camp, I don't blame him for the loss. Had nothing to do with it. Did it help? No. But you're professionals. You're supposed to compartmentalize. And if you're good enough, you go out there and beat Belgium. And you weren't even close to, you weren't worthy of being on the pitch with Belgium. So I'm not going to blame that distraction. Now I'm going to blame that you guys are a bunch of chokers and you're not good enough. So there you go. That's the way I would look at that. Anyway, the whole the whole Tatum Brown thing, I think people get so hung up on it. And I see the story about the breakup between the two and that it was kind of inevitable and that the guys weren't really getting along and things like that. The way I look at it is Brown wanted this badly. He did not want to be second fiddle anymore. He wants to go somewhere where he has a chance to be the number one guy. And the problem is that fans want him to be happy where he's at and just be content and get along with Tatum. But that's just not how life goes. You can't control how people want to feel or what they want from their careers. So the story goes that their relationship had been deteriorating. And according to Shams, he notes that while Tatum and Brown fit well together on the court, their personal relationship over the last year was close to non-existent as you can have. And I understand that. Sometimes you have two alphas and one of them can't be the alpha that he wants to be. He got the opportunity. He wants to feel that again. He doesn't want to have to placate to Tatum and play off of Tatum. Maybe in Philly, he'll get to be the number one guy. I think he will, actually. I think in Philly, you make him the number one guy. That would make a lot of sense in Philadelphia. But either way, because Maxey can have some good nights. And obviously Embiid, when he's on, bro, he's a hell of a player. He's always injured, but it kind of reminds me of Austin Jackson. Like, I think Austin Jackson's a heck of a right tackle, dude. But he has to be healthy in order to be a heck of a right tackle. That's just kind of the thing, unfortunately. So now we see this story and talk about how they don't get along. You cannot force people to be together. Some of us have had to suffer divorces, not personally for me, but as a child, I watched a divorce, an ugly divorce between my mom and dad. Did I want them together? Sure. Like lots of kids. But you can't control what is out of your control. You can't control somebody else's emotions. And if people don't want to be together, and if somebody wants change and wants a change in their lives that you can't understand, it is what it is. It's bad for the Celtic fan because you're a better team with those two guys together. That's obvious. You've already won a title. So it's not like you can't go out and win it again if you have the right mix around those guys, right? But for Jaylen Brown, he's already won the title. He's got his money. He wants something else to make him happy. That happens to you, to me, everybody. Everybody aims for something that you want to make yourself happy for that moment, for that year, for a lifetime, whatever it is. I just recently got an 85-inch television that my daughter gave me for Father's Day. That makes me very happy now when I'm watching television, especially World Cup games. Boy, they look good. I can't wait to watch football on it. It's going to be awesome. Another target I want to be somewhere where I'm close to a beach for my wife. You know, that we all have targets. We want things, we want to do things that will make us happy. And in this case, will make me happy because it makes my wife happy. You know, my wife loves the beach, loves sunsets, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to go somewhere where we're going to be kind of close to it and see it all the time whenever we want for the whatever time we have left. You know, that's a target. That's an idea I have in my mind. You know, a target of where I want to go. Things like that. And Jaylen Brown has what he wants to do with his life. He already accomplished a championship. He's already been Robin. He wants to be Batman. He wants a chance to be Batman. And you know what? That's his right. It sucks for the Celtic fan. It sucks, I guess, for people that are trying to figure it out and write about it and talk about their breakup and all that. You can't control any of that shit. You can't control what people want. Look at LeBron. LeBron has picked up and left whenever the hell he wants. And he goes wherever he wants. And he shuns whoever he wants. It is what it is. You're not going to control that. And now this time, it's not about money and all that. Now he wants to go somewhere where he just wants to be happy. He wants to go somewhere where I guess the basketball part is a little easier for him, where he just goes and is a basketball player for the year, not the guy that has to carry the entire damn franchise. I think that's kind of part of what's going on with LeBron. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown wants this. He wants to be the guy. He wants to have an identity away from the Celtics and away from Tatum and being his Robin. And clearly Brown feels like in Philadelphia, he'll get his chance to be the guy. And who's to argue? He's always healthier than Embiid, so he'll easily be the guy over Embiid, and he's better than Maxey. So yeah, he can be the guy. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. We appreciate you all out there. 62,910 right now with Bitcoin. The market right now, the Dow is up 185 points. The S&P is up 49. The NASDAQ is up 3 points. SpaceX is stuck at 150. There you go. Thank you out there. Let's see what else. Embiid, when healthy, is arguably the best big man in the NBA other than Jokic. Yep. Yeah, there's no doubt. When Embiid is healthy, dude, he can play. There's no argument there. Problem is he's never healthy. That's it. All right, folks, we appreciate you all out there. Thank you all as always. We shall see you tomorrow morning from Acura of Pembroke Pines. Same time, same place, same back channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O